I took a break from endlessly scrolling Netflix's catalog and complaining about what they don't have and logged back into Hulu. It's fine, it's good. I just tend to forget that it exists sometimes, but when I logged in, I was pleasantly surprised to find not only the new season of The Bear, but also the third season of Shoresy. I'm a big Letterkenny fan, so when Shoresy was announced, I was absolutely ecstatic. I was tapped in. After season one, season two couldn't have come any faster, and after season two, the Sudbury Blueberry Bulldogs had definitively set the tone. And now with season three, I don't know. This waning excitement isn't an indicator of lackluster episodes and production. In the case of Shoresy, there was a couple-year build-up to this excitement. Each new season of Letterkenny brought with it a bunch of laughs, random good music finds, and so many amazing quotes. The Bear, on the other hand, didn't have this luxury or advantage of maintaining fan-based momentum with a spin-off series. Out of the gate, the show was already amazing. Episode 1 had me hooked. Jeremy Allen White playing a misunderstood and self-destructive genius is never a bad time. But the whole cast really came together to make a show about the woes and rewards of being a chef or restaurateur in busy restaurants really feel like the environment. Fast cuts, good-looking food, and a whole lot of yelling have you watching the show with eyes wide open and a twinge of anxiety in the pit of your stomach. So before I start my cynical speculation, let me highlight some of my favorite things about these shows. Both do a great job of creating an atmosphere that feels familiar, yet not so familiar that it keeps you from immersing or escaping into the world of the show. I've never played hockey, and I've never been a line cook in an actual restaurant. But the writers and actors did a great job of making sure you understand the impact and weight of the character situations without straight up putting it in your face like, oh, look how hard this lifestyle is. No normal person could possibly ever handle this. In fact, the premise of these shows is basically that regular people are capable of achieving new heights and whatever goals they set their minds to, as long as they're willing to put the work in. I know I talk about characters and naturalistic feels to shows a lot. It's just my preference in media. But aside from writing and acting real, there's another aspect that makes things feel realistic and relatable, and that's representation. Both shows mainly follow a white male lead, and they do a great job. I'm a big fan of Jeremy and Jared Kiso. But as a black man, even watching another man, I can't always connect with all the struggles the leads face. Man knows what man goes through, yes, but man is not just man. Man has experiences and culture and biases and problems that the actors, writers, and directors couldn't possibly ever account for. As people, we all do. So getting to see Io, Lionel, Liza, Edwin, and Corey gives, in my opinion, more life to the show. Not only does it make the setting more real, but it's empowering to see people of color playing characters with depth, purpose, and drive. Shoresy's a little lighter on the POC and the cast, but between that show and Letterkenny, the Canadian culture brings out an, at times, childlike sense of humor, but a very serious and concerted effort to promote Canadian and Native American talent in the entertainment sphere. I'll eventually make a full video on my opinions of representation in media I'll eventually make a full video on my opinions of representation in media eventually. Double eventually, I love it. But for now, what was up with season 3? Both shows released this year, and since I watched Shoresy on Hulu, they actually released only days apart. Season 3 of The Bear boasts 10 episodes, while Shoresy released 6 episodes as per usual. Both seasons follow the main characters as they try to decide if they can or should continue following their respective passions, and both seasons end with a title card. The Bear simply stating to be continued, while Shoresy's presented a slightly earth-shattering, this is the end of Shoresy, before quickly adding a part 1 to the end of that. I'm not going to read too much into these end cards, but it just struck me that both shows hadn't done that before, and now both had included a note for viewers to be on the lookout for more. Likely due to them both getting renewed for a 4th season so quickly, but either way, this triggered me to look at why I enjoyed these seasons of these great shows, but not nearly as much as I enjoyed the first 2 seasons. I'm not going to complain about more seasons of great TV shows, but I do think the quick turnaround on the renewals impacted the shows a bit. The quality was still there, it was enjoyable, it was everything they already were, just a bit slower. Both shows felt like the primary focus diverted from the main plot to the characters. More information, more blanks filled in, more building of supporting cast. It's not a bad thing, but it also felt like the overall plot was not progressing as it had in prior seasons. The constant hustle and bustle of the Bear seemed to be replaced with the hustle and bustle of Carmi's inner dialogue. The quiet moments were filled with long exchanges between supporting characters, helping to bring color and life to the rest of the staff. But these moments felt very unscripted and not always in the best way, unfortunately. Sweeps, as a character, has been a man of few words, shrouded in mystery with a suave nonchalantness about him. So when Sugar says he's going to a class to learn about wine, I thought this was leading to a montage or episode following Sweeps and giving background on him. Similar to the episode on Tina and how she joined the staff at the restaurant and met Mikey. A full episode might not be necessary for Sweeps, but I think it would have been cool to see him further breaking into the realm of fine dining and the struggles he faces learning about being a sommelier, maybe even a little lore drop for him and some cool interactions with a cool dude. Instead, we got a nice enough scene between one of the facts and Sweeps. It was good, but the scene didn't feel like Sweeps. It was too explicit for such a low-key character, in my opinion at least. Not just in this scene, but in a few others as well. It felt like the directors gave them how the scene would start and end and gave them some key words to work into the conversation. Some of them landed, but some of them didn't. Shoresy didn't feel too different, as the formula of the show almost requires Shoresy to be surrounded by other people to riff off of and keep up that fast-paced conversational dialogue. The Bulldog setting the tone on the ice is what seemed to take the back seat in this case. The world expanded, and we got to see more talented hockey players coming to Sudbury. It raised the overall stakes for sure, but I don't know. I wanted a little more quality time with the Bulldogs as their veteran presence commanded the ice. Did I say that twice as well? But with Shoresy potentially quitting hockey, it kind of makes sense. I don't think the show's missed with these recent seasons. I don't want that to be the overall takeaway from this video. I don't think the magic is wearing off and I'm just losing interest. I can't begin to express the level of locked in I was when I was watching these shows. I believe these seasons just felt slower because they were. Having a green light to work on season 4 might have, adjusted some priorities and storyboarding. There's a wider window to stretch out storylines and more time to allow plots to develop. And while I didn't dislike these seasons, I definitely didn't enjoy them to the same degree as the seasons prior. Maybe some of that is the magic wearing off a bit, the novelty disappears with each new episode. But if you asked me to turn it off, or God forbid, you talked through the show, there'd be repercussions.
Shut the hell up! Damn!
I'll excitedly await the new seasons as I always do. But the feeling is changing. The shows were renewed quickly, but that doesn't always mean a show will be long running. Atlanta ended its run after only 4 seasons, and not by the choice of the production company, not due to dwindling views, but just because Donald Glover had made what he set out to make. I hope that I'm wrong, and there's going to be another handful of seasons for both shows. But at the same time, we kind of have to acknowledge that we're not living in the times of long-running mega series like The Office and New Girl anymore. 6 to 12 episodes, a couple seasons, and then a new show, a new up-and-coming actor. Time moves on, the streaming platform's homepage refreshes and presents a new top 10. But right now, I just want to focus and enjoy what we got going for us. Inevitably, I'll be excited about whatever new show pops up in the future, but I'd be absolutely lying if I told you I'm at all prepared for the end of these shows.